Major League Baseball opening day found the Cardinals on the losing end of a wild game against Toronto. We've got the ups and downs of it all and the latest on the Willson Contreras injury and what it might mean moving forward for the Cardinals on today's episode of Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Haffer, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou, and a lifetime Cardinals fan, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter at JD Sports Radio. You can follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. I want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We're also available on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment over there. That way you can interact with us. Hit the notification button so you know when the new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans of baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode brought to you by Gametime. You can download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. A gorgeous day for baseball on Thursday, 47,649 in attendance, second largest opening day crowd ever at the stadium, and an unforgettable rendition of the national anthem by country superstar Adam Wainwright and part-time starting pitcher Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals. That was all of that ruined, absolutely ruined in the end with a 10-9 loss for the Cardinals against the Toronto Blue Jays. And I made this joke on Twitter. Also did it in our post-game short that we need to start calling them the Toronto Bloop Jays after what we saw on Thursday as they continuously hit the ball, but just didn't hit it very hard. But my, oh my, did these balls just find holes, didn't they? They just everywhere. And it wasn't just Toronto who got their share of weak contact hits. Plenty of them fell for the Cardinals as well. It was just one of those days at the ballpark where the weaker you hit the ball, the better chance you were actually going to get on base. It was a bizarre game. The two teams combined for 19 runs on 34 hits. And I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but I'd say at least 25 of those 34 hits weren't exactly barreled up, as we like to call it. Blue Jays leadoff hitter George Springer even described his 5 hits on the day as lawn darts. Dalton Varsho described some of them as duck fart hits. But they all count. They all count. Chip Caray said it well when he described the hits against Cardinals starter Miles Mikolas as death by 1,000 cuts. You know, the Blue Jays weren't hitting him all that hard, but they kept finding holes. They kept finding grass, and it didn't help that Miles' first couple of innings, because he kind of settled down after the first one for sure, but he kept falling behind hitters. And when you don't have overpowering stuff and you rely more on pitch placement, if they know you have to come into the zone, it makes it a whole lot easier for the hitter. And when Mikolas was throwing strikes, he was missing his spots. And he was doing it by a couple of inches. So things that were supposed to be on the outside part of the plate, he was missing them back towards the middle of the plate. And that's how you get a line that Miles got at the end of the day. 3 1/3 inning, 5 runs, 10 hits, no walks, because Miles doesn't really walk people. Still had 6 strikeouts, but 10 hits, 5 runs. You were hoping for something better. But here's the thing. Mikolas wasn't garbage, okay? He wasn't getting ripped all over the yard. They just hit him where they aim, which is part of the game. And with the no shift rules, you actually might see more games like this throughout Major League Baseball. I mean, Mikolas wasn't the only starter in the big leagues on Thursday who struggled a little bit. Jacob deGrom, Aaron Nola, Zach Gallen, Sandy Alcantara, Corbin Burns. These are superstar names, and they all had less than stellar starts to the season on Thursday. Even Mikolas' competition, Alek Manoah, also struggled on Thursday. And I will say this, a little credit needs to be given to Miles Mikolas. He kept the ball in the yard, which has been a problem for him over the years, where he gives up the home run ball. That didn't happen on Thursday. The guy kept competing despite the frustrating hits that kept happening against him, which honestly, as a former pitcher, those are more annoying than actually getting taken yard. Okay. You get one taken yard off you and you're like, well, hit the hell out of that one. The ones that just keep falling in where you actually beat the hitter and made a good pitch and they still get a hit off of it. So frustrating. He stayed composed, still gave the team 85 pitches and kept it from getting really out of hand while he was in there. So I don't want that to be glossed over. You look at the line and you're like, yeah, not a great start from Michaelis. But at the same time, let's give him a little bit of credit for what he did accomplish out there. The bullpen had to deal with the same issues, just weak hits that found holes. Hats off, or tip of the hat, if you will, to Zach Thompson and Drew Verhagen, who looked great out there in relief. The Jordan Hicks inning, that one really stung. You grab the lead back in the bottom of the seventh, and not only do you blow the lead again, but you lose Willson Contreras, which we're going to talk more about here in a little bit. But you look at Hicks's line, and you also see his. You see 2 runs on 3 hits, a walk, a strikeout, and you're like, yuck. That's terrible, right? Not really, because they didn't hit a single ball hard off of him. And here's the thing. Jordan Hicks falls victim to this constantly. And it's because his stuff is so nasty. It moves so much that hitting the ball solid is not something normal that happens against Jordan Hicks. He gets the weak contact, and sometimes Lady Luck is just not on his side. So you get a dinker into center field to start the inning. Then you get a swinging bunt for the next hit. Then Vladdy Jr. fights off a pitch on his hands and plops it into right field. None of that is bad pitching. It's good hitting, and it's even better luck. Great luck, if you will. Cardinals fight back again to retake the lead, and then in comes your closer, Ryan Helsley. You think everything's locked down. They fight back to take the lead 9-8. His inning gets off to a tough start as well. Whether he was just overthrowing, maybe he was a little too amped up on this day, wasn't comfortable on the mound. I don't know what the excuse is. Whatever it was, Helsley couldn't find the zone. And he does the big no-no. He walks that leadoff hitter, and we all know that's going to set you up for failure, right? We all say it. The announcers say it. Everybody says it to each other. You look at him, leadoff walks, they'll kill you. And they always seem to come around and score. And guess what? That's what happened. He allows an 0-2 single to Kevin Kiermaier, throwing a slider low and into a lefty. Worst possible spot to throw a pitch to a left-handed hitter. That's their sweet spot. Then Springer, guess what? Dumps another garbage single over Edmonds' head, and the game is tied. He gets Bo Bichette to ground out, but then Vladdy Jr., one of the best hitters in baseball, gets the sac fly. So the pitching wasn't as bad as the 10 runs on 19 hits looks. But at the same time, it's still 10 runs on 19 hits. It's got to be better than that. It was a franchise record on opening day for Toronto with those 19 hits, and the most on opening day since the 2005 Cup. So we made some history on Thursday, just not the good history that you want. The Blue Jays team is a World Series contending team. They're very, very good. They got one of the best offenses in all of baseball. So you got to respect their talent and not just say things like, overreacting to what happened on opening day where, the pitching stinks. We knew they would suck. The bullpen is terrible. Because they don't. They're not terrible. They don't suck. It was just a weird day where a lot of these balls were just falling in. And again, the Blue Jays are really, really good. And if 3 or 4 of those weak hits ends up finding leather and are caught instead of finding grass, the Cardinals probably win this game. Speaking of the offense, I want to talk about that next because they were very impressive on Thursday, up and down the lineup. And, of course, we'll get you the latest on what's going on with Willson Contreras' knee injury. That coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Now, I do want to talk about getting tickets to a game. Like tickets to opening day, obviously very hard to get, but they shouldn't be a stressful thing to try to find tickets to your favorite events. Doesn't even have to be sporting events. It could be anything. Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, things that are going on at the theater. They got great deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, so you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for all the fun you're going to have, which you got to admit, they lost on Thursday, but that was a fun game to watch. That was entertaining. That was what Major League Baseball wanted, and you want to be there for the action. So forget about planning months in advance. Gametime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Exclusive flash deals on tickets for baseball, football, basketball, concerts, comedy, all of that stuff. The game time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. Even if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time's going to take care of you. They're going to credit you 110% of the difference. The tickets are then sent directly to your phone. You never have to go dig through all the emails going, where the heck did I see that email? You don't have to worry about that anymore. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB, all caps, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Get ready for baseball season with Locked On MLB's Ultimate 6-episode season preview. Our local and national experts give in-depth analysis of every team and division in a way only Locked On can provide. Find all 6 episodes on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Again, it was a great day for baseball in St. Louis on Thursday. I've got a few photos here on YouTube, courtesy of my buddy Mike Carlson, who was down and about downtown. And I was like, buddy, I can't make it. Can you shoot me some photos of all the chaos? And he obliged. So here they are. Some of the sights of what happened down at Busch Stadium on Thursday. It was a great day for baseball. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. The offense, not much to complain about here, can you? The Cardinals scored 9 runs on 15 hits, hit 2 home runs, and they lost. The offense was certainly not to blame in this one. Despite going down 3-0 after the first, they continue to battle. And then they were down 4-1. They continued to battle. Later on, 5-3, continued to battle. They forced Blue Jay starter Alex Manoah, who was a top 3 finisher in the Cy Young Award vote in the American League last year. They forced him to throw strikes. Eventually, they wear him down. They knock him out after just 3 and 3 1/3 innings. I think is as far as he went. And I tell you what, Brendan Donovan and Lars Nootbaar at the top of the order, which is something, by the way, that I suggested and was very happy to see because I was worried that Tommy Edman was going to go back at the top of the lineup. And having Donovan and Nootbaar up there, and I don't care if it's a lefty-righty matchup thing. I just want to see them up there for a while because they are going to frustrate pitchers a lot because these 2 hitters are very, very patient. They take long at bats, and they're more than willing to take a walk. And they're going to absolutely annoy the hell out of opposing pitchers this season. Let's go look at it. Brendan Donovan goes 3 for 6. That's a huge day. 3 for 6, 3 runs scored, including his own 2-run shot to tie the game. And then you got Nootbaar. Although he only had 1 hit, he still walked twice, which means the Cardinals' number 1 and number 2 hitters were on base 5 times ahead of your studs in Goldie and Arenado. And that's exactly how this offense will be successful this season. Have people on in front of your 2 stars. That's going to lead to wins. It truly will. Went and looked at the pitch counts for each of the hitters. Donovan had 2 at-bats where he saw 6 pitches. He had 1 where he saw 4, 2 threes, and a 5. So Brendan Donovan in 6 at-bats saw 27 pitches on Thursday. Lars Nootbaar, 2 6-pitch at-bats, 2 4s, a 3, and a 2. He saw 25 pitches. I love this. That's fantastic. And no offense to Tommy Edman, who was 2 for 5 with a run scored on the day and had 2 really nice at-bats where he saw 6 and 5 pitches. But his other at-bats, 3 were the other amount of bats that he had, and he saw 6 total pitches in those other 3 at-bats. Okay? He's just a more aggressive guy at the plate, and having him in that number 9 spot, it just kind of suits him better. And eventually, he might bounce up to like the number 7 spot. He'll move around. There will be games this year that he leads off. It'll happen. But I like him down there. And then you think about the ideas of having that second leadoff hitter down there at the bottom of the order. That's something Tommy Edman can be. But I love Donovan and Nootbaar at the top of the order. I think it's great. Very patient. Speaking of patience, how about Nolan Gorman? He draws 2 walks. Struck out twice, but 2 walks and a hit, on base 3 times. You like that from Nolan Gorman. And the ball will go over the wall at some point. Goldie and Arenado, they do their thing per usual. 2 hits apiece. Goldie with that clutch RBI in the 6th to give the Cardinals the lead. What were the Blue Jays doing in the bottom of the 8th inning pitching to Nolan Arenado, knowing that behind him is Andrew Kisner? What were they doing? I have no idea. I can't answer that. The only thing I can think of is they forgot that Willson Contreras got hurt and was removed from the game. That's the only thing I can think of. Why are you throwing to Nolan Arenado there with Andrew Kisner sitting in that on deck circle? Strange. We got the big fly from Tyler Broneo, which was historic, the fourth consecutive opening day that he's hit a home run, which tied Yogi Berra, Gary Carter, and Todd Hundley as the only players to homer in 4 straight opening day games. Rookie Jordan Walker came up in multiple key situations, and he didn't succeed in all of them, but did get his first major league hit and his first major league at bat, which was a line shot up the middle, one of the few hard hit balls on the day. Drove home the go-ahead run in the 7th inning by simply doing his job and putting the ball in play. The only thing he couldn't do there is like pop out or strike out. You don't want to line out, obviously, but he did what he had to do. Got his job done, put the ball in play, gets the run in, hustles down the line, is safe at first. If anything to say about Jordan Walker, here's what I would give him if I was giving him some advice. I would say just try to be a little more patient out there. And I get it. He's excited. It's opening day. He wants to impress everyone. Totally get it. He'll adjust. He's too good of a hitter and he's too good of a player to not adjust to this. He's done it his whole life. And I'm sure he's going to. And he'll come through more times than not in those situations moving forward. But he didn't walk much in spring training either. So I would recommend to him, take some pitches. Let the pitchers come to you a little bit. You're dangerous, okay? They're scared of you. It shouldn't be the other way around. You shouldn't be trying to attack every single pitch that comes up there because they're going to catch on to that and they're going to get you chasing stuff on that first pitch, and you don't want that. So prove to them that you'll wait for your pitch. That would be my advice. Willson Contreras was everything we'd hoped he'd be yesterday. 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, threw out a would-be stealer, absolute cannon from behind the plate. Then tragedy strikes. Then we get the bad news. 8th inning, he takes a 103-mile-per-hour pitch in the dirt from Jordan Hicks. Sinker goes off his right knee, and he has to leave the game. Ugh, not good. Not good. How bad is it, though? I've got the latest on the injury next for you on Locked On Cardinals. The Final Four is this weekend. So I'm guessing you are going to pay attention to that. It's a very interesting Final Four bracket. And now's a perfect time for you to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. That way, if your bracket is busted and you're out of the running for your office pool, that you can still, you can make some money on the tournament still, right? So that's what you need to do. Download America's #1 sports book. That would be FanDuel, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scorers and three-pointers drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. And if the tournament doesn't do it for you, NBA coming down to the wire here on who's going to make the playoffs and everything. Play-in tournament. People are trying to get in there. You've got the final, we're down to like the final week here and the weekend plus next week, and that's it for the regular season. So don't miss out on a chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Willson Contreras was having a wonderful opening day with the St. Louis Cardinals before taking that Hicks pitch off of his right knee, limped off after the ball after it happened, tried to shake it off, even tried to get down in his catcher's crouch to see if he can continue, but they decided not a good idea. Let's get out of here. He leaves the game with what the team described as a contusion, aka a bruise, to his knee. And, watching the game and watching it on replay, the ball actually hits him in his knee guard. But it must have just struck him just right. And let's face it, 103 miles per hour, that's straight smoke. That is crazy stuff coming in there from Jordan Hicks. So the people that I've seen online commentating, Yachty would have stayed in the game. Oh, he's not tough. Knew it was going to happen. He's weak. Stop it. Stop it. First off, Yachty was a freak, and we're not totally sure he's all the way human. Okay, to be able to take the punishment he did from behind home plate and continue to play over 150 games almost every season. That's crazy. That's not normal. Second off, it's opening day. No need to force your new prize free agent catcher into playing a couple of more innings if he can't bend his knee. All right, it's not worth it. Again, 161 games to go. Let's not overthink this. X-rays after the game, we found out, came back negative. And according to MLB.com's John Denton, his MRI today also came back clean. Great news. Great news. The team will continue to do more testing, but so far it appears that he has avoided anything serious. Because my first thought was, when I saw the way he was reacting to it, was that he cracked his kneecap. That was my biggest fear. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Thank you to the baseball gods that is not what occurred. That is not the case, at least so far. So X-rays clean, MRI clean. Andrew Knizner might be your catcher the rest of this weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened, depending on how Contreras feels after today. But again, no need to rush him back and risk further damage so early in the season. It's just not worth it. I don't want to bash on Knizner because he's going to be an easy target this year for a lot of us, and that's not what I want to do because I want him to succeed, okay? I like the guy. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a decent backup catcher as far as a catcher. The dude sucks at hitting. At least right now, he's terrible. And we knew at some point that we were going to need Andrew Knizner to play more games than you wanted him to. But already, after one game, he's already in the lineup. And watching him bunt on Thursday, ugh. I mean, I get it. You're a backup catcher, and that's really not your thing. But I'd almost rather him stand up there and just not swing the bat than to see him try to bunt like he did. Awful. Like, that was bad. But the one position where you could ill afford someone going down, it happens on day one. So if the Cardinals aren't actually scouring the league right now for a capable veteran catcher, because what if Contreras, what if it's like, it doesn't feel better in a couple days, you got to put him on the DL. I mean, what are you doing next? You know, because the guys behind Knizner clearly aren't very good, or else Knizner would not have made this team because he did not have a good spring. If that doesn't get them to go looking across the league for somebody, I don't know what's going to push them to do it. But I would be doing that if I was Mo right now. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen. Now for your second listen, check out Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Win your league by listening to Matt and Dom every day as they bring you the best fantasy draft strategies. Find Locked On Fantasy Baseball wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Cardinals are off today. They're back at Busch on Saturday. 1:15 start St. Louis time. It'll be Jack Flaherty on the mound against Kevin Gausman. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on Twitter at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Help our channel and our love for the Cardinals grow. You are the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.